can a dog be the reason an entire street started caring again? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But sometimes, the most profound lessons come from the most unexpected teachers. This is the story of a street that learned to share. Imagine a street just like any other. The kind of place you might live on or drive through every single day. People are always in a rush. The sound of cars, hurried footsteps on the pavement. Doors closing, phones ringing. Everyone was busy working, busy earning, busy chasing their own dreams. So busy, in fact, that they became blind to what was right in front of them. They were too busy to notice the quiet figure who had made a small corner his home. A homeless man who slept on a piece of cardboard near the corner store, wrapped in a thin, worn-out blanket. He was practically invisible, a ghost in the whirlwind of their daily lives. Day after day, he was there. And day after day, people walked right past, their eyes fixed on their destinations, their minds on their to-do lists. He was a part of the background, like a lamppost or a fire hydrant, unseen, unheard, and unnoticed. It was a street full of people, but it was a lonely place. But there was one resident of that street who wasn't too busy. One pair of eyes that saw the man, and they weren't human eyes. They belonged to a scruffy, amber-furred stray dog. He had no owner, no name, and no home to go to. He roamed the street, surviving on his wits and the occasional kindness of strangers. His daily routine was a masterclass in patience and strategy. Every day, like clockwork, he would plant himself outside the local fried chicken shop. He'd sit there, head cocked, tail giving a hopeful thump-thump-thump on the pavement. He wasn't aggressive or demanding. He hoosed white. He knew the smells, the sounds, the rhythm of the place. He knew that eventually, someone's heart or their stomach would be bigger than their appetite. And sooner or later, it always happened. A kind soul would walk out, see the hopeful dog, and toss him a leftover piece of chicken or a few fries. For the dog, this was his daily bread, his hard-earned meal. Treasure. But here's where the story takes a turn you wouldn't expect. Anyone would assume the dog, hungry from a day of wandering, would devour the food on the spot. But he never did. The moment the warm, greasy parcel landed near him, he'd gently pick it up in his mouth. He wouldn't even take a single bite. With the precious cargo secured, he'd turn and trot away with a sense of purpose. He walked past the bakery, past the laundromat, his tail held high. His destination, the corner store. He would walk straight to the sleeping homeless man, who was often lost in a world of his own, and gently, carefully, drop the food right beside him. Then he would sit a few feet away, watching, his tail wagging softly, as if to say, "This is for you." He did this every single day, a small, silent act of unbelievable generosity. A stray dog, who had nothing, was sharing his only meal with a man who had even less. He was a silent guardian, a four-legged angel of that forgotten corner. For a while, this beautiful, quiet ritual went unnoticed. It was just another part of the street's unseen life. But one sunny afternoon, a little girl no older than 7 was walking home from school, clutching her mother's hand. She was dawdling, as kids do, her eyes wide open to the world in a way adults often forget. She saw the dog get his piece of chicken, and instead of seeing him eat it, she watched, fascinated, as he trotted down the street and delivered his special meal. She saw him lay the food down for the homeless man. She tugged on her mom's sleeve, pointing, but her mom was on the phone, distracted. "Come on, honey, we have to go." But the image was burned into the little girl's mind. It was a puzzle she couldn't solve. Why would a hungry dog give his food away? It was a question that followed her all the way home. It was a question that wouldn't let her sleep. The next day, as her mom packed her lunch for school, the little girl had an idea. "Mom," she asked, "can you make an extra sandwich for me today?" Her mom, surprised, asked why. "It's for a friend." The girl sighed, a secret sparkle in her eye. That afternoon, on her way home, she held the extra sandwich in its little plastic bag like it was a piece of gold. She walked right up to the corner where the homeless man was sitting. The dog was already there, on guard duty. The man looked up, startled, as this small child with a bright pink backpack stood before him. She shyly held out the sandwich. "This is for you," she said softly. A slow smile spread across the man's weathered face. He took it, his hand trembling slightly. "Thank you," he whispered. The little girl's heart felt like it was going to burst. She had done something, and as she turned to leave, she saw the dog, sitting there, wagging his tail as if in approval. Her small act was like a single pebble dropped into a still pond. The ripples began to spread. The owner of the fried chicken shop had seen the little girl. He'd always wondered where the dog went with his daily chicken. The next day, when he gave the dog his piece, he also filled a small cup with rice and gravy and walked it over to the man himself. He patted the dog on the head and shared a nod with the man. It was the first time they had ever acknowledged each other. The very next day, the fruit vendor, who set up his cart across the street, saw what was happening. He'd seen the dog, then the little girl, then the shop owner. That afternoon, he left a small bunch of bananas on the sidewalk near the man's spot. He didn't say a word, just left them there and went back to his cart, a quiet smile on his face. It was like a silent, unspoken agreement was spreading through the street. It became a chain reaction of kindness. Within a few weeks, the homeless man's corner was transformed. He was eating better than he had in years. The baker would leave a bag of the old bread. The woman who ran the coffee cart started leaving a hot cup of coffee every morning. Someone left a new, thicker blanket. Another person left a pillow. People who used to walk by with their heads down now stopped. They didn't just drop things and run. They would stop to say hello. They asked him his name. It was Michael. They learned he had served in the army. They learned he had a family once. He wasn't just a homeless man anymore. He was Michael. He was a person. He was a part of their community. And the dog, the little stray who started it all, he still came every single day, his tail wagging, a piece of chicken in his mouth. But now, he wasn't the only one showing up. He would arrive to find a small crowd already gathering. He'd drop his offering and then sit back, watching with what looked like pride as people talked with Michael, shared a laugh, and treated him with the dignity he deserved. The dog's job wasn't over. In a way, it had just begun. He was the host of this daily gathering, the furry master of ceremonies who brought everyone together. He was the constant, the reliable heart of this newfound community. That scruffy little dog did so much more than just feed one hungry man. He did something far more powerful. He woke up an entire street. He reminded a busy, distracted group of people to look down, to see the person who was right there, to open their hearts. He taught them that a small act of kindness is never wasted. It can be a spark that lights a fire of compassion in an entire community. He showed them that you don't need to have a lot to be able to give. Sometimes, all it takes is sharing the one piece of chicken you have. That street was never the same again. It was no longer just a collection of buildings and busy people. It had become a neighborhood, a place where people cared. All thanks to one stray dog and the simple, profound lesson he taught them. The lesson of how to share. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that warm the soul. Let us know in the comments what you think. Have you ever seen an animal show incredible kindness? We'd love to hear about it. See you next time.